Hey y'all, how you holding up? If you're anything like me, there are certain moments in life that are like core memories burned into my brain where I can remember vivid details of what was going on, which for me is saying something because I found over the years I don't have a great memory. But one of those moments I remember, I was in my house, in my home office, sitting at my desk. I was wearing like jeans and one of my favorite black hoodies, and I could not stop crying. I was inconsolable. This had been going on for about a half an hour. And I mean, I'm a human with emotion, but I don't cry a ton. And for me to be crying that hard, that long, is not typical. And I just remember I was in this moment of like, I am screwed. I do not know what I'm going to do. I knew logically I had some tools and resources, but in that very moment was just one of my lows. I've had a lot of lows in life, but that is definitely one of them that has stuck with me. I had been at Amazon, I don't even remember, probably like 8, 9 years at that point. And I had rotated to a team that I had been on for about a year and a half. And they specifically brought me onto that team because they wanted someone that had some Amazon culture and rigor, and they wanted to bring some of that structure to the team. And I had been doing that. We had fun. I liked my teammates. My manager was great. And then leadership shifted and changed, and they brought in a new director. And this director eliminated my position. And it was after about 2 months, the way they went about it, not, I'm sure, how Amazon wanted them to go about it 100%. But basically, this leader came in and any senior woman's position was eliminated across the entire org. That's another conversation for another day. I'd been told my position was being eliminated, but I wasn't given like a due date of when my last day would be. I was just told I needed to go find something else. When I was having my breakdown crying moment was probably about 3 weeks after I had been told this. At the time, Amazon had changed some of their management and structural requirements. And so teams across the company had laid off a ton of like middle managers. So here I am, an 8, 9 year veteran Amazonian. I have a great network. I've worked with a lot of people. I know a lot of great teams. And there are so many people internally looking for jobs. I can't get my network to even be willing to have a coffee chat with me. They were that bombarded and overwhelmed. So again, this was 3 weeks after I'd known this and after I had been trying things, and I just felt like nothing was going to work. I was the sole provider for my family. We had just sold our house in Seattle and moved to be closer to family. My home life wasn't great, and I was worried if I was going to have to find a new job locally, we weren't going to be able to make it. And I just felt like there's nothing I can do. So I was sobbing in that moment. I had so much anxiety for those 3 weeks, and a couple months after, I wasn't sleeping. I was eating junk food. I wasn't doing like my normal routines or things that I liked, things that I enjoyed. I was crabby and not a nice person to those people I came in contact with. I was so full of anxiety around, this is terrible. This is not going to work. I don't have any options. I was so wrapped up in that. I wasn't even like effectively looking for new jobs because I was just paralyzed by it. I would go to sit down at my desk and try to think of like, okay, well, what else could I try to do to find a new job or rotate to a different team within Amazon? And I would just freeze, right? I was in such fight, flight, or freeze. I couldn't do anything. And then what I would do was like dumb and little and not working and take so much time and so much energy, which then kind of created this anxiety spiral even more and more because then I was more and more anxious of another day went by and I didn't have a solution. I was able to land a new job at Amazon, and not because of my network, and not because something landed in my lap, and not because someone went out and did it for me, but because I learned, how do I reduce the anxiety, admit the hard part that's going on, but how do I get myself out of this anxious spiral of not doing anything and feeling stuck? That experience is why I have a coaching business today. It was so crucial in my ability to navigate that experience, navigate the additional years I worked at Amazon, navigate starting my own company, navigate a divorce, navigate kids, navigate family members with health concerns, navigate life is full of stress and anxiety. But these core tools that I learned have made all the difference every single time. If you struggle with anxiety, listen up. This one is for you, okay? First, I want you to think about what is the real cost of this anxiety. I was paying the price of living with this anxiety physically on my body. I was living with it mentally, in my brain, with the heavy load I felt I always had to bear. I was living with the cost of it in my relationships, in being who I wanted to be, and enjoying life. When you're living with this anxiety, if you're too anxious to speak up in a meeting or too scared to try to lead a project that's a little bit outside of your comfort zone or apply for a job that you're not 100% qualified for, if you're too worried about making mistakes and taking risks, you're going to stay where you are and stay stuck and be miserable. You're not going to figure it out. You're missing out on promotions that potentially are costing you $20,000 to $50,000 a year. I know I missed out on promotions because of my anxiety. I've seen it with dozens of my clients. You're missing out on sleep. You're missing out on health benefits. You're missing out on relationships. You're missing out on your hobbies, on having fun outside of work, on living a full life, even though it's crazy around us. I remember going to the doctor and them saying like, well, you just need less stress. And I just laughed at them. I was like, you say that like there's just a magic pill I can take. There's not. But guess what? There are steps you can take. They're not magic, but they work every time. My relationships were suffering because of this. I wasn't showing up as a good partner. I wasn't showing up as the kind of friend, as the kind of sister, as the kind of mom I wanted to be, and I knew that I was. I also wasn't showing up for myself in ways that I knew I could and wanted to. It was my sanity was at stake. And I'm super passionate about this because it's fascinating to me how many of us, and I put myself right in this bucket, but it's fascinating to me how many of us are happy to pay $800 to $1,200 a month for a weight loss drug that's going to help us physically. We're willing to pay $200 to $300 a month for pills that are going to help my hair grow and my skin look good. I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing this, but if you're willing to spend that kind of money on your health, why are you not spending money on your mental health? Yes, you can go watch all the YouTube videos. You can listen to the TED Talks. You can talk to ChatGPT. But guess what? Knowing what to do is not the problem. The problem is you're not taking action. You don't have someone helping you along the way, and you don't have someone holding you accountable. So we just keep studying and learning about it. Think of it like if you wanted to learn how to snowboard. You could watch videos, you could read books, you could attend classes, you could learn all about it. But until you get on the mountain and clip your boots into that snowboard, you're never going to learn how to do it. It's the same thing here with learning how to manage your anxiety. Because the truth is, anxiety happens in our body. It's a physical sensation. If you are trying to manage your anxiety up here, if you're trying to schedule better and work smarter and rotate so that you have a different boss and find a new job so that you don't work in this toxic work culture, those things can help temporarily, but the anxiety is coming with you because it's a physical thing. That is just like trying to plan your way outside of needing to go to the bathroom. No, when your body works in a healthy way, you need to go to the bathroom a few times a day. You know how you feel better? You go to the bathroom. Anxiety is a natural, normal, healthy human emotion. But if you don't know how to, quote unquote, go to the bathroom and relieve yourself of that anxiety, it's just going to build up and get worse and worse and worse until now we're just stuck. Like, I think of it, I've had moments where like I had to pee so bad, it's like hard for me to walk. Okay. I've also had anxiety in such extremes. I can't get out of bed. Here's my offer to you. I am launching a 30-day anti-anxiety challenge. It's 100% money back guarantee. But I promise if you go through this challenge, if you show up and you do the work and you apply and practice what you learn, within 30 days, we're going to reset you. We're not going to be stuck in that anxious spiral where we're convinced it's never going to happen and it's doom and gloom and it's too hard and it's too big and we can't do anything and we just need to be grateful for what we have. No. Within 30 days, we're going to shift you so that you have a plan, so that you start knowing what is it you want and we start taking action to get there. We're not going to just talk about this stuff. We are doing the work to get rid of the anxiety. 100% money back guarantee. If you go and do this challenge with me and you're like, this was dumb, I don't feel any better, this was a waste of my time, all your money back. Again, think of how much money you're spending working on your physical health, working on your physical appearance, how much money you're spending trying to feel better while you're feeling anxious on entertainment, on food, on alcohol, on shopping. You can do all those things, but guess what? That's not solving it. This 30-day challenge, it's only $297. I want this to be accessible to as many people as possible because we all have a lot of anxiety and we need you out there being good humans, helping do good things. I was working with a client of mine recently and teaching her all of these tools. As she came to me, she had been unfairly fired from her job and had so much anxiety, she really was struggling and she knew it, which is why she reached out. She was worried about finding a job in this job market. She didn't want to compromise on the things she wanted, like a virtual or hybrid setting. She wanted benefits. She wanted to make what she was making before. But she also wasn't sure how was she going to explain how she got fired to potential prospects without lying. That's just not who she was. But when she started practicing and applying these tools that you're going to learn in this 30-day anti-anxiety reset, guess what? She got a job. She got a job before her severance even ran out. So she technically was like getting double paid for a couple months. She got a job that was paying her $10,000 more than what her previous job was. And she's so excited by it. Not because she's lucky. Not because she has some magical connections, but because she did the work to know how does she like who she is? How does she not let the anxiety be in control of her life? And how does she start taking the right action to get what she wanted? Because she did. I also had another client who I was working with that worked in a pretty intense, toxic, fast-paced environment, and leaders were constantly changing. Leadership changed again, and their new manager came in, and it was very clear, for whatever reason, this new manager had it out for them, and they were trying everything they could to manage this person out. This person could see the writing on the wall, and he was amazing at what he does, but he was also working on a visa and didn't want to lose that and felt that because of that and because of the job market and the way things are, he was stuck and didn't have any options. I taught him these tools. We worked through it together and he was able to rotate and find a new job that he likes and he enjoys it and he's working with good people. And the other day I just had this moment of like, karma is my boyfriend moment with him on our call where he let me know that other manager is no longer at the company because they realized they weren't a good fit. You're allowed to feel anxious, but if you're not doing anything about it, it's not going to go away. I also had another client come to me who was in a situation where they were just pretty miserable. They could afford to not work for a while, but they didn't know what they wanted to do. They were worried about leaving in the economy like it is today. And they also just felt totally stuck. And like their only option was just to like quit, give themselves some headspace to figure it out, and then come back to it at that point. But they didn't know like how to figure out what they wanted to do. So again, I taught them these tools I'm going to teach you in the 30-day anti-anxiety reset challenge. And he ended up deciding he's not going to quit yet. He went on extended leave, but he had a plan. He had a purpose. He had goals. He had things he was going to do. And he did do so that, yes, he's still trying to figure out that next step, but he's not just quitting and walking away and creating extra stress and pressure and more anxiety on him to figure it out. He came up with a plan of how to start figuring it out without needing to take such extreme measures. And he went back to work, and he's been implementing the things, and he's not working as many nights and weekends, and he's happier than he's ever been, and he didn't even need to change his job. He still might. I don't know. It's up to him. These things work when you work it. It's not that you don't know what's going on, it's that you're not doing it. You need to sign up for this anti-anxiety 30-day reset challenge. Go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/anti-anxiety. Click the link in the show notes or below this, wherever you're consuming it. So let me give you a little bit more detail on what's actually going to happen in this 30-day anti-anxiety reset. So this is going to happen over 4 weeks. Each week, I'm going to teach you the core fundamentals of a different tool. Okay, so you're going to learn the 4 key tools I teach all of my clients and are really the main core tools that we use. There's just thousands of ways we can apply them through the different situations of life. Okay, so week 1, we're going to focus on how do you stop the anxiety spiral? How do you stop anxiety in its tracks? So you're going to learn, how do you go to the bathroom like when you're in that peak anxiety spiraling moment? Maybe it happens like right before a difficult meeting or during a presentation or at night when your head won't shut off from all the things you're thinking about you didn't get done for the day, okay? I'm going to teach you a tool on how do you stop that right in the moment, what is kind of that emergency brake on the anxiety, okay? So you're going to learn that. These are going to be in like super short 5-10 minute videos that you're going to get that you can watch on demand. And then where the real transformation happens is on our coaching call, because we're going to answer your questions. We're going to help you apply it at a deeper level so that you can come on. And even if you didn't watch the training video, raise your hand and say, I need help with this. And I got you. But this is where the transformation happens. Here's the other thing. Hearing other people get coached on this is so powerful for yourself. I call it secondhand coaching, right? Just like secondhand smoking is a real thing, so is secondhand coaching. So when you come to the coaching call, even if you don't sign up to get coached, hearing other people and the challenges they're having, I guarantee you're going to learn how could you apply that to your situation as well. Week 2, now we're going to learn how do you stop the spiral, okay? We've pulled the brake and we've stopped, but how do we prevent ourselves from going back into that and spiraling? And spoiler alert, it's not just believing it's all going to work out. Because in that moment, you don't believe it. In that moment when I was crying at my desk, nothing anyone said could make me believe I was going to figure it out. So I'm going to teach you what to do instead, because you can't just tell yourself, don't think of a pink elephant. You think of a pink elephant. You got to tell yourself what to do instead. So that's what I'm going to teach you in week 2. And then we're going to have another amazing, incredible coaching call. If you can't come to them live, which you should, because that makes all the difference. But if you can't, you'll get a replay you can listen to when you need. Okay, week 3, we're going to talk about what are some anxiety-proof routines you can integrate into your life in easy, sustainable, scalable ways to help reduce the amount of anxiety you have. Because the life you have right now is simply a direct result of the habits that you have. I had the terrible habit of checking email before I went to bed and checking it the very first thing in the morning, of working just a little bit every night, of saying yes when I knew I should have said no. We all have these little sneaky habits that it's like death by paper cut. It's significantly adding to our anxiety. Okay, so week 1, we've put the emergency brake on it. Week 2, we've stopped the spiral and the spin of it. And week 3, we're just going to, in slowly sustainable ways, start changing our habits. You're not going to go from working every night and weekend to never working after 5 o'clock. That's just not reality. You can try that, and you can use willpower to do that for a couple weeks, but it's just not sustainable. What we're going to do is we're going to take action that actually works long term. Okay? And then we're going to do another amazing coaching call. If you do nothing else, come to the coaching calls. One coaching call alone is worth the $297 investment. Okay? And then week 4, I'm going to teach you some ways that you can continue to practice and apply this and stay calm under pressure, under stress, under the anxieties that are going to continue to happen, right? Because we're going to do a lot of work to help you manage the anxiety you have on your plate right now. But again, hate to break it to you, but there's more coming. Okay, so I want to teach you some tools on how do you continue to manage it in an ongoing setting. And then we're going to have another amazing coaching call. $297, 100% money back guarantee. You get access to this for life. I've designed this in a way because I know you're busy. I know you're anxious. I know you don't have a ton of time. I've designed this to make this the easiest and fastest way for you to get unstuck and start creating the career you want and feel confident in your career again. We start October 27th. This podcast is getting published October 17th when doors to this challenge open. The first 5 people that sign up are also going to get a 30-minute private coaching call with me at no additional charge. So go click the link, go sign up before those spots are gone. You do not want to miss this. This is the key to setting you up to making next year your year. Let's make it more fun. Let's make it easier. Let's get you more money. Let's get you the title and the scope and the working environment you want and you deserve. It is 100% possible. But until you learn how to manage your anxiety, you're going to take the hard path there. There's an easier, faster way. And this 30-day anti-anxiety reset challenge is the key to get you there. I can't wait to see you there. If you have a friend that you think would benefit from this, please send this on to them. Sharing is caring. You're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon.